Taiwanese foods overall are delicious.
Wow, wait.
But there are some Taiwanese foods that foreigners just cannot handle. But in today's video, I'm going to be introducing 10 Taiwanese foods that we are terrified of at first.
Century egg tofu. Okay.
But after many years of trying them, we learn to love them just as much as the locals.
So of course, first on the list, top of the shop when it comes to Taiwanese foods that terrify foreigners, and that's Tofu, Tao Dahu. And it took me years before I was ready to try Stinky Tofu, Tao Dahu. So in this video, what I'm going to do first is tell you why we actually find each food terrifying, and then come up with my reasons as to why we end up falling in love with these Taiwanese foods and putting them in some of our favorite foods lists. And as I mentioned, first on the list is Stinky Tofu, Tao Dahu. And as to the why we find it scary, I think it's pretty obvious. Anything with the name Stinky at the start of it is going to put us off.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
Oh God, that's so bad.
But before I came to Taiwan, I had no idea about Stinky Tofu. And after a couple of years, I think my first time eating Stinky Tofu was when I hit 50,000 subscribers.
Cheers, ganbei.
I didn't enjoy it when I first ate it. But I think I ate it wrong. I didn't pair it with the right ingredients. Stinky Tofu comes in many different varieties. The one from the shop behind me is a fried, crispy Stinky Tofu, and this is the one that I can handle. Stinky Tofu in soup or in hot pot still cannot do it, but if you get Stinky Tofu with the right recipe, either kimchi, chili sauce, the right accompanying ingredients, then you can't go wrong. This particular one is served with a little bit of chili sauce, a little bit of soy sauce, and cilantro. No kimchi with this one, but I'm sure it's going to be absolutely delicious. The outside is crispy and crunchy. The inside is kind of like a pudding, a cheese, not as sweet as a pudding, of course, but absolutely perfect. Wow, wait. I'm in love. It's one of my favorite foods, and I know probably shouldn't eat too much of it, but got to say, this one, 8 out of 10. Second on the list of things that absolutely terrify foreigners, but we now love, is right behind me, mi xie gao, zu xie gao. I know my pronunciation is not perfect, but it's a food I've learned to love. 我要一份米血糕。听说你的米血糕是台中最好吃的。
对的，要不要辣？
不要辣。
不要辣。
我已经够辣。
你也够辣了，小姐也很辣。
哪里？哦，还不错。
小姐没有辣吗？
还不错。好，谢谢。So yes, 米血糕, 40 NT, 1 UK pound, and definitely something that took me a long time to get used to here in Taiwan. Despite the fact that we actually eat a lot of pig's blood in England in the form of black pudding, it's just something that gives us a little bit of the creeps when it comes to eating pig's blood. And this style with the cilantro, the peanut powder, and the steamed pig's blood looks a little bit terrifying to the foreign eye, but I promise you, try it yourself, it's absolutely delicious. As I mentioned the first time we hear about it, pig's blood cake sounds terrifying, looks equally as terrifying, but when you actually find out that it's just rice made with a little bit of pig's blood and those extra ingredients, really, really delicious Taiwanese snack. Really interesting texture, very cute, not so much to get your teeth into, but compared to another mi xie gao that I had at Fengjia, I would say that this one needs a little more peanut. The one in Fengjia is a little bit more peanut heavy, a bit more crunch and texture to it, but still very good. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. Okay, so let's take a quick break from this video to talk about something that I use every single day, and that's NordVPN. If you've ever used public Wi-Fi at a cafe, a hotel, an airport, you need to be incredibly careful when using the internet, as your personal details are at risk. Your email, your logins, your banking details are all susceptible to being hacked by nefarious other people. And that's exactly where today's video sponsor NordVPN comes in. It creates a secure, encrypted connection between your devices and the internet, giving you more security, privacy, and importantly, peace of mind when logging onto the internet. And yes, one other benefit that I'm sure you've heard about is accessing geo-blocked content from your home country when traveling abroad or living as I do as an expat in another country. Perfect for accessing home country services and unlocking content when you're abroad. I've been using NordVPN for years now, even before I was a YouTuber, I was using it to access the BBC's Match of the Day football program on their iPlayer service, which is only available to UK residents. And the final major benefit is that NordVPN are offering a huge discount to all Life in Taiwan viewers, as well as 4 months extra free service when you sign up to one of their 2-year plans using my link in the description down below and my code Life in Taiwan. You really cannot lose when it comes to NordVPN. They offer internet safety with just one click. So thanks once again to NordVPN for sponsoring this video, and that's going to bring us on to the next food that maybe foreigners aren't so much terrified of, but something that we don't really understand or maybe get as much as Taiwanese people do when we first arrived, and that's Loro Fan. Taiwan's national dish maybe makes us a little bit afraid of the unidentified pots of meat that it usually comes from. And maybe because it's such a cultural, important, local, down-to-earth dish, we don't really get it when we first get here. So most foreigners tend to avoid it. And as you'll see on this particular one, this one's served with another dish that we find very strange, some pork floss, something that I'm not too keen on still, but again, a food that we very much don't understand. Let's just put it that way. Not that we're terrified of it, we don't understand it. But of course, once you have your first bowl of Loro Fan, there is no looking back. Let's be honest, any type of braised meat that's been cooking for hours all day is going to be tender and delicious. And I have to say that I'm enjoying the pork floss on top of this one. The meat is almost like liquid, it's like a jelly. So the pork floss really contradicts that texture and adds an extra special feeling in the mouth. It's often joked that if you spend too much money on something, you're going to be eating Loro Fan for the rest of the month. I wouldn't complain about eating Loro Fan for the rest of the month. This one at $40 isn't the cheapest Loro Fan I've ever had, but it's pretty reasonable for local Taichung prices. Scores out of 10 are not going to be anything astronomical. It's a very standard Loro Fan. 7 out of 10. And for the next food, we have a guest, Tofu. Welcome to the channel.
Hey, thanks for having me again, man.
Long time no see.
Yeah, too long.
Today's video, we are talking about terrifying Taiwanese foods that we learned to love. What's some examples that you might be able to think of off the top of your head?
Like the frog.
Oh yeah, frog, something else I've not gotten used to.
If I was hungry enough, I'd get it. Yeah. The pig blood cake.
Well, we have ordered a very special Taiwanese food that should be arriving anytime soon.
Oh, here we go, here it is.
Here we go, here we go. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, is this century egg?
Century egg tofu.
Century egg tofu. Okay.
Now, one thing that I've introduced many times in this video is that the most important thing with Taiwanese foods is that you eat them with the correct ingredients.
Okay.
Eating a century egg by itself, no one does that, or only weirdos do that. What you need to do is eat it with dough, porridge, or as they've served it here, you can eat it with tofu and jangyo. Soy sauce. Just take a look at that gooey, green, blue. Let's just clarify, is this a terrifying looking Taiwanese food?
I would say so.
Yeah, I think this is one of the big ones, one of the most terrifying ones.
Yeah, I mean, I've avoided it for a reason.
So a bit of egg, a bit of soy sauce, and a bit of tofu. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ding, down the hatch. Once it's in your mouth and you can't see it, just like a creamy egg texture, right?
Tastes fine, tastes good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, it's surprisingly good. I expected a much more
pungent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, pungent, fermented flavor, and it's not there at all.
I have to say that this one is not the most strong flavored century egg I've ever had.
No.
I have had more stronger flavor, pungent ones.
I honestly give it like a 7 or an 8. I'll say 7.5.
7.5 out of 10. I would have to agree. Really good.
Yeah.
Nothing exceptional. It's not going to win any awards, but it's really good quality traditional Taiwanese food.
Yeah.
Which is what we're all about in this video. Now, as well as some foods that used to terrify me, but now I absolutely love, there are still some foods in Taiwan that still terrify me. And one of them is right behind me, Dongsan Yato. Duck head is something that I don't think I will ever be able to enjoy and eat. Of course, I'm sure it's delicious. I'm sure there are people that love it, but for me and for most foreigners, duck head is a big no-no. Next on the list is an absolute classic when it comes to Taiwanese foods that terrify foreigners, but become delicious to us, and that's dun dun dun. Also known as chili shang. This is chicken's butt, chicken's ass, chicken's PN case woman. And of course, the reason that we think this one is terrifying is because who likes to eat ass? Maybe prosy. So yeah, it's pretty obvious why this one is terrifying, but the right sauce, the right cooking method, it is absolutely delicious. That is some juicy ass.
And why do you like it?
Because it's delicious and meaty, and it's got like a little bone inside that crunches when you bite through it. And this is a food that when I mention it to my family back in the UK, they are absolutely terrified. They can't believe that people actually eat the ass of the chicken. But let's be honest, we all eat the same meat. Ours probably goes into sausages or other processed chicken products that you eventually end up eating. Here in Taiwan, they just keep it simple, keep it fresh, and I have to say, it's absolutely delicious. I think when William comes back next year, he's going to take a little bit of convincing to try it, but I'm sure once he does, he'll definitely like it. This particular shop's version, it's the first time me eating here at Ijong, and I have to say, they do a pretty good job of it. It's got like a really nice, oily, fatty texture to it. Unless somebody told you that you were actually eating ass, you just think you're eating a little bit of a chicken fillet with a little extra bone in the middle. 8.5 out of 10, really good. Another food on the list that still absolutely terrifies me and other foreigners, chicken's feet, or as they're also known, dinosaur claws. Absolutely terrifying and not so delicious. Next on the list is actually a Tainan delicacy known as Milkfish Soup, Shimu Wutang. My tones are terrible, but the reason we are terrified of this is the number of bones. Westerners, foreigners, we tend to eat fish bone-free, the same with most of our meats, but Taiwanese people seem absolutely no problem with picking out bones from their meat. But just look at that big cut of meat, that big cut of fish. It looks like it's going to be pure meat, but there's thousands and thousands of bones in there we have to pick our way through. But I assure you it's worth it. Absolutely delicious and very healthy. No. Lots of bones. I'm impressed with the number of bones in this fish. This is really good. My whole point of being scared of milkfish is useless. I think maybe Westerners' fear of milkfish soup comes from our childhood, when we were scared stiff by our parents when eating fish to make sure there was no bones in the fish. It was like a fear that all kids have of choking on a fish bone. Not too sure if that's the same in Taiwan. Delicious fish, delicious soup, and to be honest, not too many bones. Maybe this one is a little bit unjustified, so I'm gonna give this one a nice high score, 8.5 out of 10. Okay, and for the penultimate food in the list, tofu is back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's been such a long time since we had that pidan tofu, right?
A little.
Thanks for coming all the way back to Taichung to eat the next dish, which is gonna be Uazhen. Uazhen is a Taiwanese pronunciation for oyster omelette. And why do you think this is so scary or terrifying to foreigners at first sight?
Well, you know, not a lot of people eat oysters. You know,
True.
Usually you have to be near a coast.
Well, I live on the coast in England, and we very seldom eat oysters. Oysters is more of a luxury item for us, like oysters and champagne, which I did have once last year. I'll show you a photo now. Spent half of a month's rent on a plate of oysters in Paris.
Whoa, not worth it.
Yeah. But also, as well as the oysters itself, I think like the goopiness of the sauce
That's just it, yeah.
tends to be a little bit scary.
I can see why this would be a little scary if it's your first time.
Let's try an oyster first, down the hatch.
Right, cheers.
Yeah, that salty explosion in the mouth. That is a perfect slice of oyster omelette. Some crispy pancake, some egg, some bai tai, a nice oyster, and the unidentified goopy sauce. It's kind of like a lightly flavored tomato sauce, but not tomato sauce.
All right.
Yeah. Cheers, down the hatch. This is one of the best oyster omelettes I've ever had. The combination of textures just makes it much more foreigner friendly. Do you think this would be popular back at home in Colorado?
Well, when I went back to the States, I actually brought some oyster omelet flavored crisps.
Oh, right.
Chips. And it was actually the biggest hit. Oh, this is really good. I could eat this every day. I gotta give this an 8 or 9. So many textures and flavors.
Well, thanks to Tofu for being on the channel.
Hey, thanks for having me.
There's a link in the description down below to his channel. Go check it out. He's got some really interesting videos around geopolitics and military affairs in Taiwan.
Yeah, not as much about food, but
Who knows in the future? Maybe some military ration videos?
I actually brought some back from the States. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Perfect idea for a video. But as for now, time to get to the final food. And that's going to bring me to the final dish on the list of terrifying Taiwanese dishes that we learn to love. And that's going to be Douha. Now, Douha is something that I didn't eat until 10 years of living in Taiwan. And the first time that I ate it was actually in New Taipei City with a certain politician that some people may or may not like.
一个是白色黑白配，
黑白配，
男生女生配。 听得懂听不懂？
完全听不懂. And as to why foreigners maybe don't like Douha, it's a texture thing, as it is with most of the things that I've mentioned today. Douha is actually not as sweet as we expect it to be, but once you get over that texture and the relatively new, different flavor, like something that we've never had before, then it's really a taste sensation. I usually like it with yuan, but unfortunately they're sold out here. So we've actually got some tang yuan, a little bit of Douha, shen-tao, and tang yuan all on one spoon. Yeah, there's just something with the texture of the Douha that we find a little bit new, a little bit weird. It's not like jelly, it's not like custard, it's not like yogurt. It's just like Douha. It has its own texture, its own specific way that it sort of crumbles and melts in the mouth. Almost impossible for me to explain. If you haven't tried Douha, I highly recommend you go and try it. I gave it to William and his mum last year in a video.
The texture is always a big thing for us.
They didn't like it. Maybe it's not for everybody, but as for me, absolutely perfect. I've actually eaten at this shop before. I'm not too sure if I've introduced it on the channel, but it's one of my favorite Douha shops, and I'm pretty much gonna give it a very standard 8 out of 10. Very good, delicious, sweet Douha. So that's gonna bring me to the end of today's video. Don't forget to go check out that link in the description down below to get your extra 4 months free of NordVPN when you sign up for one of their 2-year plans, as well as the extra huge discounts for Life in Taiwan viewers. But I think that's enough. Time to say goodbye. I'll see you next time in My Life in Taiwan. Peace. Bye-bye.